It's easy to understand why you're so challenged by research proposal writing. This is the major project that scares off even the best students. Without cool research proposal ideas, it's even more difficult to start writing. You have to relax. With some effort and a lot of patience, you'll complete the paper. Even if you struggle too much, you can count on research proposal writing help. Just remember, there is always a solution if you focus on the problem well enough. Let's start from the start. First idea, you might have writing issues. Many students have problems coming up with high quality content. If you don't trust your writing skills, you can always run your work by close friends or even your professor, who might be the most capable person to help in such circumstances. Make sure lang na nirespeto natin ang mga proposals guidelines. And as long as ginagawa natin yon, the rest will follow naturally. Idea number 2, you might have procrastination issues. They can focus on the task at hand and are not able to finish by the deadline. If you love to leave everything for the last minute, make sure you are prepared to come up with a strong excuse. One of the biggest problems encountered with writing a proposal is procrastination. Procrastination meaning na-postpone or na-delay yung research proposal writing. Idea number 3, what if you have research issues? An excellent research proposal format should feature an introduction, at least 3 compelling arguments, followed by a strong conclusion. Keep in mind that you won't be able to come up with the whole paper in only one try. You need an outline and a draft. So to find the perfect method for you, here are even more ideas on how to write a research proposal. If you've never done this before, the process might look overwhelming. But don't give up. Ika nga keep your head up and be pleasant. Be present. You might need to get some help, but there are many ways in which you can develop your research skills. Stay positive. Idea number 4, write the outlines. Learning how to write a research proposal outline is not complicated at all. Make sure you know what you want to research and how to plan it. Here are 5 critical questions. How will you evaluate your research, your results, and what your operational definitions? Second, how much will the research cost and how much time would it take for the project to be implemented? Third, what are your sponsors' interests and how does the project relate to them? Fourth, what is your project makes a difference? Which parties will your research project have an effect on? Idea number 5, come up with the draft. You need at least 3 compelling arguments. For your research proposal presentation, don't forget to include the significance of your research and connect it back to your literature review. You need at least 3 compelling arguments for your research proposal presentation. Since this is a draft, you can use your own research proposal format and edit later on. Idea number 6, Build a strong introduction. Your introduction must be carefully written and very concise. First, make sure you explain the central research problem, or CRP, then relate your research back to the main topic you are studying, which is the CRP. Next, explain the next methods you will use to study the proposed problem, and last, explain why this research is important. Next, explain here add the background as well. Has anyone done it before? Why is this a problem that should be studied? Idea number 7. Ask yourself, why is this significant? This part should contain a very detailed analysis of the students of the study's purpose. Why is the problem complex? Is it multi-phase? Why is it worth performing the study? Answer the so what question over and over again until you run out of replies. State how your study will contribute to previous studies, and how it will add to science evolutions. Explain your plan and include the details. Provide your sponsors with a clear focus. What will you be looking at and what will you exclude? Don't forget providing definitions in crucial if you want to learn how to write a proposal for research paper the right way. Idea number 8. Your highly important literature review. To prove a deep understanding of the topic you pick, you must come up with a well-built literature review. This is one of the most important parts of a research proposal, showing that has already been studied. If on the other hand, you ignore this part, you may not get the grant you so much want. That's because disregarding past studies shows the lack of respect for the work of your fellows. Idea number 9. Explain research design. Identify the research operations you'll take on and explain how will you analyze the results of these operations and report with the problem you're researching. Stating what you intend to do is not enough. Sponsors need a thorough analysis of the work that will be performing. They must know how you will spend your time researching this issue that you find so interesting. So if you were wondering how to write a proposal paper and win a grant, you're in the right place. Idea number 10. Compile arguments. Be aware that explaining your methodologies, as explained in the point 6, will not be enough to convince sponsors that you need a grant. Take time to provide an even further analysis of your research ideas. What is the purpose of all of these tasks you are performing? Why are you spending X time on doing that and Z time on doing this? Listing assignments and the process will not help you win the money. Only coming up with arguments for why these tasks are important will. Idea number 11. Identify the problems that might occur. Acknowledging the potential obstacles that you could encounter in your studies is a smart way of avoiding heavy criticism later on. If you know that there are some problems that could occur, Anticipate them ahead of time. Let your sponsors know what the issues might be, but don't forget to add solutions. Idea number 12, don't freak out. What a great idea. If however there are no solutions available to the problem you're foreseeing, don't freak out. No one's research methods is perfect. Anyone could encounter problems. For instance, dealing with subjects if performing a psychological experiment can be challenging, while obtaining relevant data or even accessing different type of information can be a pain. Idea number 13, how to write a hypothesis for a research proposal. The main part of learning how to write a research proposal is actually learning how to write your hypothesis. Constructing a strong hypothesis is possible as long as these points are respected. You explain your dependent and dependent variables promptly, and you predict the effects the dependent variables will suffer. You depict the causal relationship between your independent and dependent variables, specifically leaving no room for confusion. Idea number 14, explain the implications. The goal of this section is to insist on the effects and implications your study will have on future research, theory and practice, policy making, etc. Define sections of research proposal. So we have to consider these questions. How can you connect the theoretical framework to the practical results? First question. Second, what future suggestions could arise potentially after reviewing the study? Third, will your outcomes have an influence on socio-cultural, economic, or political factors? Fourth, who benefits from your study and why? Fifth, what will change, improve by studying this matter? And last, how will the results of the study be implemented in real world? Idea number 15, be realistic. Don't overstate the impact of the results. Be sure to explain everything thoroughly, but don't overdo it. Many researchers have claimed to change the world and make the universe a better place. While it's quite impressive, but under no circumstances realistic. Idea number 16, come up with a strong conclusion. The conclusion strengthens your arguments and brings a final interpretation of the whole proposal. A Guide to Financial Success, Robert Gregg explains how your conclusion can easily influence a sponsor's decision-making process. When you're an expert on how to write a research proposal, you know that the conclusion is not trivial. In fact, it's quite amazing how a well-established conclusions might turn the odds in your favor. Idea number 17, use citations. Now that we have looked at how to write a research paper proposal, it's time to talk about citations. Remember, any scholarly academic paper must include citations in the form of references and bibliography. The references will list your literature reviews used to write your proposal, while the bibliography will list everything else cited in your work. Idea number 18, communicate wisely. Learning how to write a research paper proposal is not enough to get funded. You must also use your communication skills to convince the audience of your work's potential. Many agencies and sponsors are interested in how you will pass on the information to the next audience. Well, means you must ace your proposal presentation. So work on your communication skills while you're at it. Idea number 19, have someone experienced read it. After you're all set and your work is polished, have someone experienced read it. Their feedback can be very helpful. Working on your proposal for such a long time, you might not be able to spot the errors anymore. Make sure your reader will critique your work thoroughly before you submit it. And the last, idea number 20, ask around. Maybe you should have begun with this. Asking whether your siblings, parents, close friends would be interested in funding your research could be fun. Even if they refuse, at least you know you tried. Here's the best argument you can bring. They are taxpayers, and most research is publicly funded. Therefore, would they be willing to help a smart person in need since they are already paying their taxes? So that's all. My report. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.